Al is a young farmer who spends his days happily tending to his father's vegetable garden. Al witnessed a small orphan girl named Elvia being harassed by men she had stolen vegetables from. Fueled by compassion, he follows her to the mountains, understanding that she's hungry and merely trying to survive. Al brings her food every day, and their bond deepens as they play together and grow closer. But one day, the men from whom Elvia stole demanded to take her away and sell her into slavery. But just in the nick of time, Al's father appears with a bag of rice, paying off the men and saving Elvia from a terrible fate. The family then adopts Elvia, embracing her as their own. 2 years have passed, but Elvia still suffers from bullying in their small town. She hides her pain, not wanting to burden her newfound family. Yet, Al's friend, Testa, eventually tells him the truth while they're on a treasure hunt in the mountains. During their adventure, Testa and Al stumble upon a mysterious cave. Inside, Al finds strange writings on a stone. When he touches it, he's suddenly confronted by a vision of the evil god, and he passes out. Awakening from his nightmare, Al discovers that their hometown has been devastated by a volcanic eruption. Many people have died, and the survivors are left to ration their scarce food supplies. Al's parents are out of town, searching for a new home, while Elvia takes care of her injured brother. Elvia, worried for Al's health, decides to give him her portion of the food. She lies about having eaten, slowly growing malnourished as she sacrifices herself for her beloved brother. By the time Al discovers the truth, it's too late, and he's devastated by the loss of the girl who had become his sister. Racked with guilt, Al blames himself for Elvia's death. He remembers the promise he made to her, that he would farm food for her to enjoy. 15 years later, on a warm, sunny day, Al sets off to deliver his vegetables to the bustling capital. As he approaches the city, he suddenly notices a group of adventurers locked in a fierce battle with a terrifying S-rank dragon. Fear surges through his veins, but not for his own safety. He's more worried about the dragon turning its attention to his precious vegetables once it's done with the adventurers. Determined to help, Al grabs a carrot from his cart and hurls it at the dragon, hoping to distract the fearsome beast. To his shock and awe, the carrot explodes on impact, instantly killing the dragon. Confusion and disbelief swirl inside him, but he doesn't have time to ponder what just happened. Fearing that someone might have seen him, Al hurries on his way, trying to blend into the bustling streets of Magus. As Al arrives at the city gates, his heart races when he witnesses Fal, a young woman, being kidnapped. Without a moment's hesitation, he leaps into action, instinctively fighting off the kidnapper. The rescue is swift and successful, and Al continues on his way to make his delivery. As he tries to leave the city, however, the guards at the gate stop him. The news of his earlier heroics has spread quickly, and the mysterious woman he saved turns out to be none other than the kingdom's princess, Fal. She wishes to meet her savior and express her gratitude properly. When they finally meet face to face, Princess Fal is deeply impressed by Al's bravery and humility. She offers him a position at the palace, but memories of his past force him to decline her offer. Princess Fal desperately tries to convince Al to stay by offering him a vast, fertile field near the capital. Curious about her determination, Al learns that the criminal he defeated had an incredible strength of 500 points, far above the average person's 50 points. Surprisingly, Al's own strength is 65,000, dwarfing even the legendary hero's 1,000 points. As adventurers arrive to discuss the defeated dragon, Al seizes the opportunity to escape and return home. Upon arrival, Testa warns him that monsters are approaching their village. Worried about his harvest, Al tells Testa to leave first while he rushes to protect his fields. As Al hides from the monsters, he hears a commotion nearby. He investigates and discovers Fal and her father, the king, under attack by Romeo, a fearsome commander of the Demon King. Just as the royal family braces for the worst, Al rushes in with his plow, using his defensive power, underground excavation, to block the attack and deep plowing to create distance between them. Romeo tries to surprise Al with a sneak attack, but Al's reflexes are too quick. He blocks the sword with his bare hands and hurls Romeo against a cliff wall. Unwilling to admit defeat, Romeo unleashes the power of his monsters, transforming into a fearsome beast with large fangs and wings. He reveals that he's at level 78 and attacks Al with dark magic. Despite Romeo's strength, Al dodges the attack and retaliates with a powerful punch that knocks him out cold. In the aftermath, Al is taken to the castle, where the grateful king thanks him for saving the kingdom and asks him to become its servant. However, Al remains true to his heart, insisting that all he wants is to be a farmer. In recognition of his bravery, The royal family awards him the promised land and asks that he register at a guild to help the people occasionally. Fal accompanies Al to the Adventurers Guild so he can register, but Al decides to keep his power a secret. As a result, he receives the lowest rank. Eager to prove himself, Al requests a quest and is assigned a G-rank task to collect 10 herbs from a nearby forest. Upon arriving at the forest, Al successfully gathers 9 herbs. Suddenly, darkness envelops the forest, and the ground trembles beneath their feet. A massive black dragon, Ouroboros, emerges, exuding dark magic and towering menacingly over the adventurers. Al quickly checks the dragon's status board and realizes its attack power is over 200,000. Fearing for their lives, the group retreats and reports the encounter to the guild master. As the guild master explains more about Ouroboros, a flood of traumatic memories overwhelms Helen, the guild receptionist. She recalls the horrific day when her brother Lay was killed by the very same dragon. Overcome with emotion, she collapses. Determined to help, Al and Fal visit the ruins of Helen's old village, which Ouroboros destroyed. As they explore, Al hears a mysterious voice calling out to him. Following the sound, he discovers a grave and encounters a ghost. The ghost introduces himself as Lay, Helen's brother, revealing that she is the sole survivor of their village. He explains that she lost her memory due to the trauma she experienced. But now, Ouroboros has returned, and Helen is in grave danger. Lay shares his own tragic encounter with Ouroboros, which ultimately led to his death while protecting his sister. The dragon thrives on fear and negative energy, leaving Al worried that he won't be strong enough to defeat it. However, Lay suggests that if they can emit the opposite energy of what Ouroboros craves, they might be able to stall the dragon and devise a plan. Lay entrusts Al and Fal with a message for Helen as part of their strategy. Al and Fal return, eager to coordinate their attack, but they discover that Helen has ventured into the forest alone to confront Ouroboros. As she faces the dragon, her fear takes over, and she's flooded with memories of losing her brother. Ouroboros seizes the opportunity to exploit her guilt, manipulating her into attempting to stab herself. Just as Helen is about to sink the knife into her skin, Al swoops in and stops her. Ouroboros, angered by his interference, strikes him against a tree. Undeterred, Al rises and charges at the dragon, landing a powerful punch. Experiencing pain for the first time, Ouroboros becomes enraged and launches a relentless assault on Al. Although the dragon overpowers him, Al refuses to back down. Helen, fearing for Al's life, pleads with him to give up, believing the dragon's true target is her. She cannot bear the thought of another person dying because of her. But Al, determined to save her, carries her away and shares Lay's final message. Lay urges Helen to find happiness so that his sacrifice to save her will not be in vain. Hearing these words, a sense of peace washes over Helen, and the sky suddenly fills with bright sun rays. Without the negative emotions to feed on, Ouroboros weakens. Al taunts the dragon, provoking it to swoop down in an attempt to kill him. But Al lands a devastating punch that knocks out the dragon, causing it to vanish. As Al and Helen prepare to celebrate their hard-won victory, Helen suddenly stabs Al. Al realizes that Helen is possessed by the evil dragon and attempts to heal himself with a potion. But his weakened body causes him to spill it, and the possessed Helen taunts him, boasting about how easily she could kill him. Just as she's about to strike again, a large glowing wing blocks her path. A holy dragon, Mirage, appears to protect Al and lends him the power of regeneration to withstand Helen's attacks. Mirage reveals the secret to defeating Ouroboros without harming Helen, and Al wastes no time in executing the plan. He punches her in the stomach, believing he has defeated the evil dragon. However, he soon realizes that Ouroboros had tricked him. Caught off guard, Al feels fear, and the dragon seizes the opportunity to attempt possession of Al's mind. Surprisingly, once inside Al's mind, Ouroboros finds itself overwhelmed by Al's singular focus on farming. This unyielding determination severs the mental connection, and the evil dragon is expelled from Al's mind. Mirage takes this opportunity to vanquish Ouroboros using exorcism magic, causing Al to collapse. When Al awakens, Helen fills him in on the battle's conclusion. She also reveals that some of the evil dragon's power remains within her, enabling her to transform her arms and legs. With the threat eliminated, Al returns to his peaceful farming life alongside Testa. He soon receives a letter from his parents, who have moved to a nearby city. Deciding to visit them and pick up some fertilizer, Al embarks on a journey. Along the way, he encounters Rory, another adventurer who saves him from a dangerous encounter with a lustful orc. As Al and Rory travel in the same direction, they decide to journey together. Rory, a descendant of the hero who defeated the previous demon lord, is bound by her duty to use her powers to protect and save people. Eventually, they part ways, and Al heads home, only to be immediately knocked out by his overenthusiastic mother. Her love for her son is so intense that she inadvertently crushes his bones every time she embraces him. Al's father, still very much alive, misinterprets the situation and punches Al, thinking his wife has been unfaithful. Afterward, Al asks his father about the location of the fertilizer he needs. His father shows him on a map, which also reveals the hotel Rory is staying in. However, his father finds it strange, as he knows the city doesn't have any hotels. Curious, Al decides to get the fertilizer and investigate the hotel. But on his way, he hears a man calling for help. The man claims he was attacked by a demon, but a blue-haired girl saved him by luring the demon into the forest. Believing the girl to be Rory, Al rushes to assist her. However, as he leaves, the man smirks and snaps his fingers, revealing it was all an illusion. In the forest, Al hears a woman scream and encounters a leech monster. He quickly rescues her, but she suddenly transforms into a demon and attempts to devour him. Just in time, Rory appears and saves Al. The deceptive man from before reappears, clapping mockingly and telling Rory that she's no heroine if she can be fooled by non-existent demons. The man reveals himself as Loki, a demon working for the evil god alongside Romeo and the evil dragon. Their mission is to eliminate any threats to their plan, targeting Rory, Al, and Helen. Rory attempts to battle Loki but is quickly overpowered and knocked out. Al rushes to her aid, using his healing magic on her, and takes it upon himself to face Loki. However, Al's punches have no effect on Loki, who effortlessly grabs his arm and tosses him into a tree. Al rebounds quickly and launches another attack, but Loki uses his magic to trap Al in a hole. Al escapes and tries to punch again, but he's no match for the cunning demon. Loki summons more demons to join the fray, and Al and Rory fight back, defeating the lesser foes. But Loki gains the upper hand, using his explosive magic to bombard them while his leeches attack. As the leeches bite Al, they suddenly turn to stone. It turns out that the fertilizer Al was carrying also works as a pesticide, destroying the insects. Realizing that Loki can't summon more leeches, Al charges at him. However, Loki continues to dodge every attack. Inspired by Al's determination, Rory finds the strength to stand and live up to her ancestors' legacy. She quickly moves behind Loki and stabs him, but he seems unfazed by the attack. With newfound resolve, Rory taps into the power of the good god to awaken her hero abilities. She strikes Loki with a powerful slash imbued with holy magic, causing him to finally succumb to his wounds and perish. In the aftermath of their battle, Al returns to his farm only to discover dark vines infesting the area. He decides to sell the good vegetables, use the money to buy pesticide, and clear the vines. However, just after purchasing the pesticide, he spots a young girl being harassed by 3 men on the streets. Al intervenes and defeats the men, learning that the girl, Julia, is a demon and the demon lord's daughter. The local postman, who is also a demon, reassures Julia that Al doesn't hate demons. Relieved, she asks for Al's help in saving her people, fearing they're in danger. Julia explains that her babysitter, Volp, had sent her to Magus for her safety. Despite the journey to the demon territory taking 3 days by boat, Al chooses a faster method, running across the water while carrying Julia. Upon their arrival, Volp attacks Al and Julia, leaving the young demon girl confused about her babysitter's actions. Al skillfully evades most of the attacks, taking a few cuts in the process. When Volp targets Julia, Al steps in to protect her, suspecting that someone might be controlling Volp. As the battle continues, Al's mom, a former commander, appears and stuns Volp. Al and Julia venture into the castle, only to find a horrifying scene unfolding before them. Guards lie unconscious and injured all around, including Julia's father, the Demon Lord. The air is thick with tension and fear as the two navigate the gruesome scene. As they search for answers, they encounter a surviving guard who reveals shocking news. The attacker appears to be Al's mother, who is now poised to strike down Julia. However, Al's intuition kicks in, and he swiftly intercepts the attack, saving Julia. He confronts the attacker, confidently stating that he knows she isn't his mother because his real mother is far more affectionate. Caught in her deception, the mysterious figure admits to the disguise and finally reveals her true identity: Elvia, Al's adoptive sister. Al is dumbfounded as he gazes at Elvia, the sister he believed to be dead. Her sudden appearance leaves him questioning reality. She reveals that the evil god had transformed her into a powerful weapon, and to demonstrate, she unleashes a devastating magical attack aimed at Julia. Al's instincts kick in, and he leaps to protect Julia, narrowly avoiding the destruction that follows in the wake of the attack. Elvia claims that Al's hidden powers granted by the evil god have grown stronger, even though they remain sealed. Al is confused, as he has never encountered the evil god, but Elvia insists that he met the evil god in a cave 15 years ago, and that all his skills and titles were bestowed upon him by the deity. She promises to reveal everything if they join her side. As Elvia inches closer to Al, she attempts to use her mind-controlling eyes on him. However, Julia interrupts the moment, affectionately calling Al her big brother. Elvia's jealousy flares, and she angrily grabs Julia by the neck, insisting that Al is her brother alone. Julia remains defiant, continuing to call Al her big brother, which only serves to enrage Elvia further. Just as Elvia is about to slash Julia's throat, time grinds to a halt. In the midst of the chaos, the good goddess appears before Al, offering to cleanse the evil god's powers from his heart and bestow her own powers upon him. With time still frozen, she unfreezes it and rewinds it by just a second, giving Al a chance to save Julia from Elvia's deadly grip. With his newfound magic abilities, Al summons vines that rapidly grow and restrain Elvia. He pulls Julia away from danger, but Elvia refuses to back down. Conjuring a sword with her dark magic, she lunges at Julia, only to be thwarted by Al's protective vines. The battle continues, with the vines persistently holding Elvia back. Suddenly, Volp arrives on the scene and unleashes his fire magic on Elvia. With Elvia seemingly defeated, the immediate danger subsides. Yet, Al can't shake the feeling that Elvia might have escaped. Her words continue to haunt him, and he feels compelled to visit the cave she mentioned to uncover the truth. Checking his stats, Al realizes the goddess's intervention came at a price. He has lost all of his previous powers and is left with only 4,000 strength. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.